The White House hosted an historic summit between Israel and Lebanon yesterday. Both sides expressed a desire for peace, and the Iranian terror proxy Hezbollah is the main obstacle.
Meanwhile, President Trump has announced the possibility of a new round of talks with Iran this week. And the Pentagon says it's sending thousands more troops to the Middle East. CBN Middle East correspondent Julie Stahl has more.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio hosted the first round of talks in Washington between Israeli Ambassador to the U.S. Yechiel Leiter and Lebanese Ambassador to the U.S. Nada Hamadeh Moawad. Rubio said the talks are about more than a ceasefire.
This is about bringing a permanent end to 20 or 30 years of Hezbollah's influence in this part of the world, and not just the damage that's inflicted on Israel, the damage that's inflicted on the Lebanese. We have to remember the Lebanese people are victims of Hezbollah. The Lebanese people are victims of Iranian aggression, and this needs to stop.
The Israeli ambassador says they're on the same side of the equation as Lebanon.
We are both united in liberating Lebanon from an occupation power dominated by Iran called Hezbollah. Lebanon is under their occupation, and we are suffering from their constant barrages of missiles and terror attacks trying to cross our border.
Leiter told reporters the most important issue is a vision of the future.
The long-term vision, where there'll be a clearly delineated border between our countries, and where the only reason we'll need to cross each other's territory will be in business suits to conduct business or in bathing suits to go on vacation.
Leiter said the security of the Israeli people is not up for negotiation. He commended the Lebanese government for rejecting Hezbollah's demand that they not participate in the talks.
And this is the beginning of a very strong and fortified, consistent battle against Hezbollah.
As the talks began, Hezbollah expressed its opinion by firing rockets on Israel. Once the only Christian-majority country in the Middle East, Lebanon was overrun first by Palestinian terrorists in the early 1970s and a decade later by Hezbollah. In the broader region, President Trump told the New York Post that talks between the U.S. and Iran could resume soon in Islamabad, Pakistan. Something could be happening over the next 2 days, and we're more inclined to go there. Pakistan is offering to host a new round of talks and suggesting a 45-day extension of the current ceasefire, which is due to expire next week. Vice President J.D. Vance said the president wants a grand bargain with Iran.
He said, if you guys commit to not having a nuclear weapon, we are going to make Iran thrive, we're going to make it economically prosperous, and we're going to invite the Iranian people into the world economy in a way they haven't been in my entire life.
Julie Stahl, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Well, it's wonderful to hear dreams of peace coming from the administration, and not just peace for Iran, but especially peace for Lebanon. That country has been torn up by war, first by the PLO, and they were the jewel of the Mediterranean back in the 1950s, the 1960s. I vividly remember visiting Beirut in the 1960s, and it was absolutely incredible. And what an incredible city. Then the PLO moved in 1972, and everything just went horrible, and they were torn up. And then Hezbollah, sponsored by Iran, came in as, its name literally means party of God, a party of Allah. They want to destroy Israel, and they want to use Lebanon as the base. They don't care about the people living there. They don't care about their children, their grandchildren, any of that. They want to wipe Israel off the map. And Israel has every right to defend itself and say, not on our watch. You don't get to fire rockets indiscriminately at our civilian population. We're here to take you out. It would be wonderful for the government of Lebanon to be reestablished, that great jewel of the Mediterranean to arise once more. That's a dream worth pursuing. Well, here at home, security concerns forced Erica Kirk to pull out of a Turning Point USA event at the University of Georgia. Ephraim Graham has that story and more from the CBN Newsroom. Ephraim?
Gordon, the CEO of Turning Point USA, scheduled to appear alongside Vice President J.D. Vance at the University of Georgia in Athens, did not attend after receiving what organizers described as credible threats. The event was nearly canceled, but the vice president decided to go forward after consulting with the Secret Service.
I love Erica, and I know that she did get some threats. And, you know, about 2 hours ago, and I talked to the Secret Service, and obviously these guys do a very good job. And I said, you know what? Let's let Erica do what she needs to do for herself and her family. I'm sure Andrew will fill in. And let's go and make this an amazing event with the Georgia Bulldogs.
Erica Kirk's husband and Turning Point USA founder Charlie Kirk was assassinated in a politically motivated shooting last year. Organizers did not say whether Erica Kirk will appear at future events. A pro-life advocate won a seven-figure settlement from the federal government over his arrest and trial. In 2022, FBI agents arrested Mark Huck in a pre-dawn raid on his home, even though he had offered to turn himself in. Huck opened his front door to find more than a dozen agents on his front porch and lawn pointing their weapons at him. He later testified about the incident at a congressional hearing into the weaponization of the DOJ.
Show up at your house, 20 agents, guns drawn, in front of your family, in front of... Why do you think they did it?
The intention was to humiliate me, to scare my children, and to instill fear in pro-life America.
The Biden Justice Department charged Huck with violating a Protecting Access to Abortion law clinics called the FACE Act. This came after he pushed back against a pro-life abortion volunteer harassing his son outside a clinic in Philadelphia. In 2023, a jury found him not guilty in less than an hour. The Hucks sued the Department of Justice seeking $1.1 million in damages. This news comes as the Department of Justice released a report concluding the Biden administration targeted pro-lifers under the FACE Act. After a review of some 700,000 internal documents, investigators found prosecutors worked with pro-abortion groups to gather information on pro-life activists, and in some cases sought to withhold evidence and exclude jurors based on their religion. They also pursued harsher prison sentences for pro-life defendants, 26.8 months as opposed to 12.3 months for those accused of attacking pro-life groups. Assistant Attorney General Daniel Burrows said the Biden DOJ was used, quote, as the enforcement arm of pro-abortion special interests. Increased access to the abortion pill is simplifying the choice for women to have an abortion. One woman visited a Planned Parenthood clinic to do just that, but it turned out God had other plans. CBN's Paul Petit brings us the story. He's reporting from Chicago.
Little Theo is 6 months old. His mother originally planned for him not to be born.
It was almost as though my mind was made up that I was going to abort.
That's why Brittany visited this Chicago Planned Parenthood a year ago.
I was at the clinic to get free Plan B pills.
Research shows almost 2/3 of all abortions are now conducted using medication. Brittany says while that helped make the decision easier, she still struggled.
And as I was leaving out, I saw two men that were looking to approach me and talk to me.
It was freezing outside when we met Brittany. It was under 20 degrees. We had our signs up. We had been preaching for some time already.
Joseph Benia and Juan Elias Riesco are with Love Life Missionaries in Chicago. Their team could often be found outside places like this, pleading with women to save their babies.
When Brittany lowered her car door window, I could see there was a war happening. I could see it in her eyes, as if she didn't want to do it or she was unsure.
They took the time to pray with me. And right then and there, I was consumed with so much just love and just God's grace.
We found out she's a believer. You know, she believes in God. And that's a big thing for us because we're a gospel-centered ministry. So we want to be able to help people live for Christ, you know, not just save their baby.
Through talking with Juan and Joseph, Brittany says she learned life begins at conception.
And from there on, I knew that God was telling me, no, don't go ahead. Don't go forward with that.
Brittany did not, and several months later, welcomed Theo into the world.
What Juan and Joseph did for me was give me faith and hope. Juan straight up just say, you know, the enemy, the devil wants us to think that children are murderers, but they are a gift from God.
Juan and Joseph also introduced Brittany to Susie, another Love Life missionary.
In the name of the Father.
And a month later, Brittany was baptized at their church.
She was sharing her heart about the prayers that she had been praying leading up to the new year, just really wanting the Lord to do something new in her life.
Chance meeting or divine appointment, Brittany's visit to Planned Parenthood for an abortion ended up with the birth of her son, one of 85 lives these pro-life missionaries have saved.
So it not only gave me hope and faith to go through my pregnancy, it changed my beliefs as a parent overall. It just changed my hope and my beliefs in God as well.
85 babies saved can seem a bit bleak, especially given the fact that the abortion clinic that we work out of aborts 40 babies a day. And it could be a bit discouraging, but to us, the 85 babies that the Lord has allowed us to see saved is priceless.
In Chicago, Paul Petit, CBN News.
Welcome to the world, Theo. Hope is indeed here. Gordon.
What a beautiful baby. And yes, indeed. Welcome to the world, Theo. Here's a chilling statistic for you. With Gen Z, over 28% of that generation was aborted. When you look at that size, those numbers, it just chills your heart. I desperately want a culture where we welcome mothers. We encourage women to give birth, and we celebrate each and every birth, just as Theo was celebrated. It's been a mark of the church since the first century. There's an ancient document. Some people call it the Didache. Some people say Didache. It's spelled D-I-D-A-C-H-E. You can find it on the internet. It's a manual for first century Christians. And in it, it has a specific prohibition on abortion and for infant exposure. It says both are contrary to God's love. Let's return to our roots as a culture, as Christians, and say, we are absolutely for life. We want to celebrate motherhood. We want to celebrate children so the next generation can come into full force and replenish the earth. That's what we want to do. That's what God wants to do. And that's an expression of God's love. Imagine opening your inbox each morning and finding exactly what you need to know, clearly, concisely, and from a perspective you trust. Well, that's CBN News Quick Start, a free weekday email delivering national, international, and faith-based news at 7 a.m. Eastern Time. No clutter, just clarity.